think about time traveling.
It is. It's 5 o'clock, you guys, and so we're going to start this off. Good afternoon. It is April. It's April 28th. Look at the COVID has taken over my head. Welcome to tonight's Zoom at 8. I welcome all of you. My name is Julie Ann Peterson. I'm with Old Capital Lending. We closed 5,700 properties already. We closed $1 billion last couple of years. And so if there's at all an opportunity to provide your debt, please let me know. I would love it, the opportunity. So I'm your host tonight. I'm excited to see what you guys are up to. If anybody is underwriting, if anybody has had any success outside of what I know you're doing, and any questions on some of the finances. We've put out some new guidelines over the last couple weeks, and a lot of you are aware of them. We've spoken to each other on Slack. So anybody have a question, anybody working on something that I can help them or our other folks on here? Eric, you are new in the house. How are you?
Hey, Julie, I'm doing well. I think I've been kind of here and there over the last like 3 or 4 weeks, but yeah, I don't think I've shown my screen before.
Well, that's why. Okay, well, welcome. Are you working on anything?
I'm learning, and I've run the SDA several times, probably only 8 or 10 times now. Yeah. And every single one I've put through has been drastically lower than the asking price. So I got pretty discouraged with that, but then I heard other people have some some tricks and stuff for making that work out, and just hoping to I've got 3 kids. They're like running around right now. I put a fake background up, by the way, so you couldn't see them just looking over here just a second ago, but
no judgment. No judgment.
But I was going to say, because of that, I'm like squeezing in as much as I can, but yeah, it's been sometimes it's overwhelming with the amount of stuff I'm trying to process. I tried starting the shift class, but realized I hadn't even finished watching the videos for Joe Maker Mastermind. And then it's like, I had to just stop the shift and just focus on finishing what I had. So
okay. Well, you know what? We all learn at different rates, and God only knows how much trial you're going through at home with those little kids. That is not easy. I'm giving everybody so many kudos, because I'm telling you, I'd be dead or they would be dead, but there's nobody alive if I were going through this. Honestly, it would be horrible. So be kind to yourself, because I hope to God this only happens once. And those little kids, they're going to be having conversations when they're 40 and go, oh yeah, I remember when I had to wear this mask. Yeah. It's all going to be over shortly. So hang in there.
I've had to hide from my 6-year-old several times. So understand that.
Yeah. That's a tough thing. So be good to yourself.
I've done the same thing. I locked myself in the bedroom and then the bathroom, and I could still hear them. So yeah.
It's crazy, but keep it all in perspective, right? So I've been walking around. Well, I got out of my seat after being, sitting at my desk, and I found out that I hadn't zipped up my pants. So, life is rough. So we'll all get through this together, right?
Wait, you have pants on? Are we supposed to have pants on?
Yeah.
Optional.
You, Chris. All right, anybody else before we get started? Does anybody have any questions? Anybody, I know, if you're doing the shift, I'm doing the shift. Could anyone figure out how much time they really spend working? Anybody? Chris?
Not me.
Just find out about Yeah, I just found out about a shift last night. What is that?
Okay, so the shift is really what it is, shifting where you are, your focus, and making a change, hopefully for the better. And we're going from the start, which is talking to people that you know and love, or know and love you, or colleagues, and getting some feedback. Like, what are your gifts? What are you good at? What are you not good at? What should you not talk to me about? What should you talk to me about? And then you kind of figure out what you would be good at with all of those qualities. And now most of us are in this for multifamily, right? So we're trying to put what our qualities are and put them into where we would fit into multifamily. So we set goals, and then we figure out what is it, UVP? What is that, Chris? Help me out.
Unique value proposition.
Yeah, unique value proposition. So I want to buy a 50 to 200 unit building, and let's see, and I'll analyze 3 markets. So you kind of create this. Then we're now analyzing our time, how we are spending our time. And so today I ordered Instacart for my mother-in-law, who's, older. So I had to, things took place, life took place today. And how do you mark that down? So if you give each one a value, like, is it essential? Is it, do you have to?
Important, essential.
Is it important? Thank you.
And garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say today all my thing was garbage, except for talking to JT. So no. Anyway, it's a great program. We're learning how to look at things differently, meet people. Just it's a great platform. What do you think, Chris?
I think it's for me, what it's forcing me to do is kind of gain a little more direction in this, and a little less, and eliminating some of the clutter, and narrowing the focus a little more. And I'm balancing a job and a kid getting ready to go to college, 1 extra kid home from college, and 7 loads of laundry every now and then.
Yeah, it's the laundry that'll really get you down in this.
It never stops.
I'm good at it now, but I think it's, I set little goals for myself, like calling 3 lenders to talk to lenders. I will call 1 new insurance agent tomorrow, but calling insurance agents, calling the city to see about the taxes and to find out, in the markets that you want to be in, how are the taxes calculated? I mean, Memphis is in 17, they did them last, and it's 21, they're going to come up with it again. So, you just got to know these things where you want to operate. And then being just kind to yourself about, okay, yeah, I do want to spend time with my kids. Yeah, I do want to play a game after dinner. And ours are older. I mean, ours aren't the young ones anymore, but ours are older. But yeah, just prioritizing time to get this thing done.
Yeah, it's been great. So if you guys can start at the very beginning and do a little catch up, it's just been super valuable for getting to know everybody. And, I want to go back, and I've said this before, the Slack channel is, it's a gold mine. You can find a lender, you can find an insurance guy, you can find a partner, you can find a deal sponsor, you can find a lot of value, not just on Tuesday nights, but every day, and whether you are working with each other on Slack, maybe pick up the phone or, just hit somebody. There's just so much value. And I think Michael's done a great job of marketing and bringing a lot of people together. So I think it's really worth your time and energy to focus on, people in the Slack. So, all right. Now that I do wear pants, but they were unzippered. I do want to ask everybody if you'll mute yourself, unless you want to say something. we'll give you a moment to say, Cody, you want to say something?
I'm good for now.
Okay. All right. If you would mute yourself, that'd be great. Chris?
Wait, hey, Stuart, are you the basketball coach? Stuart Berryhill?
Yeah, that's me.
I'll reach out to you. Never mind. I used to be a high school basketball coach as well.
Okay, yeah, awesome. Love to talk. Yeah, I'm working on that multifamily playbook. It's kind of my version of
Yeah.
sample deal packing. So I'm trying to put that together, and I had writer's block today, but I'm trying to put it together like a scouting report for a game. So, offensively, the whole multifamily asset. What's that?
I did that for 3 years at the pro level too. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah, I'd love to connect. We'll have to do that.
Yeah, so Stuart
And if you
Go
need
ahead.
an insurance agent, my dad is one as well, and he does commercial real estate. And I'm actually taking my insurance exam Thursday. So.
Go.
All right. Well, maybe we'll have two people. All right. So if you could mute your stuff here. Patrick, you're not muted. Do you have something you'd like to share with us? Because you always have a lot to say. That's always good.
Sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't muted.
No,
I would
it's
have had my.
okay. Yeah, all
That's
right.
I snuck in here last time. I'm gonna sneak in here again. I appreciate it, guys. It's been great.
Good. I'm glad to provide value. All right, so I am going to turn it over here shortly. I am honored, you guys, to introduce to you JT Lynch. He is one of my friends that we meet a lot of friends in this industry. They become family. So JT is a friend of mine. He is a national insurance producer for Ramy and King, and he is located in Denton, Texas. Ramy King is a national, they're a family-owned national and insurance brokerage, and they operate as a private brokerage, and they've been in business since 1889. So they've been through the Spanish flu or whatever that was.
Yeah, right.
So he is one that I go to in multifamily to provide you guys with quotes. He's very responsive. I push over people to him, and he's got a quote in a fairly quick amount of time. So make sure that Daryl works with him. Daryl's, nodding his head. We've got Tim's going to be working with him. He knows how to transact and get the information back to you, but really make sure that you're being specific with him. And remember that time kills all deals. So if you need the information, provide him with all the paperwork so he can do his job. All right. So with that, I'm going to push it over to JT Lynch. Have at it.
Thank you, Julie. Let me share the screen here.
Let me see. I want to get you. Speaker view.
All right, everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Yep. So Julie, what I'll say is, first of all, thank you for having me, and thank you everybody else for having me as well. Funny story, I'm walking upstairs to get ready for this, and my wife sees me, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you look so nice. I haven't seen you in non-sweatpants in so long." So she made me stand in front of the fireplace, and she took a picture of me because she hadn't seen me like this for so long. So, and it is kind of nice to dress up again.
Yeah,
so,
you look nice. You look nice.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Julie, I will
Take it,
say,
JT's wearing pants.
no, I am wearing pants. I can confirm. They are zipped, I believe. Yeah,
That's
we're good.
awesome. Thank you.
But Julie, yeah, I would love for you to chime in here if there's something that you think I need to elaborate on. Daryl, you as well. We've done a ton of indications for you. So anything that I may be missing or you think I need to elaborate on, please jump in and let me know. Okay.
Will do.
So just like Julie said, my name is JT Lynch. The letters behind the name basically mean I took a lot of classes that took a really long time. That's basically what those mean. I was born and raised in North Texas. I'm a graduate of Texas Tech University. home of Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of him. You know, no big deal. I'm married to my wife, Jessica Lynch, for 9 years. I have a 6-year-old son named Liam. I've been in the insurance industry for 3 years, and I've been a producer for Ramy and King for 1 year. I am a real estate investor myself. Me and my family right now are just doing single family. We were hoping to get into multifamily this year, and then all this happened. Hopefully it'll still work out for us. Just as y'all, you just want to make sure that you're getting in the right deal. I think because I'm an investor myself, you know, I know the struggles that y'all go through. I know how much hard work gets put into it. When you tell me that you're submitting an LOI or your LOI is accepted, heck, even if you found an awesome property you bring to me, I'm genuinely excited for you because I know how much hard work is put in and how much that means to you. And when the deal closes, I'm going to be the first one to send you, you know, a bottle of wine. If you don't drink wine, cookies, at least something, because I know how much this is a life-changing event and how much it means to you. So I think working with someone that has an interest the same as yours is very important. And today, here's the agenda. I'm really not going to get into the weeds of different coverages, you know, different deductibles and things like that. Y'all don't want to hear that right now. You can call me afterwards and we can set up a time to go through that if you'd like, or maybe in one of the other meetings we can. But really, I just want to go into the meat and bones of kind of the differences of us and what we do and what we can bring to you. We're going to go over the history of Ramy and King Insurance. We're going to talk about the differences between a brokerage and just a normal agency like maybe State Farm. We're going to talk about the importance of using one commercial insurance specialist to find you coverage versus multiple, the differences in premiums throughout the nation, how we can help you underwrite insurance, what we would need to even quote, and the end, this is pretty interesting, why wiring is important. Wiring is a big deal right now for carriers, and I'll tell you all a little bit about why as we go. I'll have questions throughout at the end, but if while we're going, if something doesn't make sense, you have a question and you're afraid you'll forget it till the end, don't hesitate, just stop me and we can go over it for you. All right?
Yeah,
So,
or you can post it in the chat too, if that works out better too. Either
that
way.
works out. Yep.
Okay.
So Ramy King Insurance, it's a private insurance brokerage. We're located in Denton, Texas, which is just north of Dallas. We're family owned and operated, like Julie said, since 1889. So my boss and his brother bought it from his dad. He bought it from his dad. It wasn't always in the family since 1889, but it has been it's been in Denton since 1889. Whenever we go out to like a Denton Chamber of Commerce, everybody knows who we are. And it's a good feeling to have, being still so local and family owned.
You're a national, right? Can you just make sure?
We are national. But you know, when we're going out to lunch, we'll always see somebody that we meet, a client of ours, which is it's great to have. But yes, we are all over the nation. We've been specializing in multifamily insurance for about 35 years now. We've seen it all. Like Julie said, we're all over the nation. There's nothing that we haven't come across, nothing that we can't handle. We do everything from, you know, the easy stuff like out in Phoenix to the harder stuff in Houston or Florida, when we're talking about flood coverages and things like that. So there's really nothing we can't handle. We are a full service brokerage as well. So we don't just do multifamily service, or insurance, but we also can handle everything else. And like Julie said, we're licensed throughout the United States. I've got an apartment that's closing tomorrow in Dallas. I'm working on 2 more in Florida, 1 in Oklahoma, 1 in North Carolina. I've got clients in California, Phoenix, you name it. They're all over the nation. And it's just as easy to write an apartment here in Dallas than it is in Charlotte. It's really no different. So if you've got a property, let me know about it and I'd be happy to help you out. I mentioned full service agency. Basically what that means is we don't just do multifamily insurance. And the reason I tell you that is I've had clients in the past come to me and say, hey, I'm really excited. I bought this new storage facility. or I started this new construction company. And I'm thinking, well, why didn't you call me for insurance? And then they'll say, well, I just thought you did multifamily. So I wanted to show you all this because we do, we can do everything, even private home and auto as well. Let's go.
So just to review, you'll do mobile home park, storage, retail.
We can do it all. They're really, we really specialize in multifamily and construction, but if there's something that you've got, bring it to us and we'll find a market for it. If we don't have carriers for that, we'll go out and get the carriers. I've gone to events before where I've run into multifamily homeowners, but they've also mentioned that they're in another industry. I'll ask my underwriters, my boss, hey, do we have a market for this? And they say, not necessarily, but we'll get it. You've got someone that has an interest in that. Let's go get it. Let's find out who the best is, and let's just go get them. So I really love real estate, but I also love other opportunities that it brings me. As y'all know, the investors in these deals, they're from all walks of life, and I love the ability to be able to talk to them about multifamily. Build that relationship, and then hopefully, if that translates to your construction company or whatever, I'd love to help you out there too. So I just love the flexibility that the brokerage gives me. And so that segues into the next slide here. What is a brokerage? And I apologize to some of y'all if this seems elementary to you, but I really want to get into some of this because a lot of people don't know. So let's just go over it. We all see commercials for these different insurance companies. So what is the difference between Ramy King Insurance, a brokerage, versus the State Farms of the world? First of all, we have the ability to broker out to numerous carriers. We're not just set in, this is our quotes, this is all we have, that's all you get, right? No, we're going to go out to multiple carriers, shop for you. It's in our best interest to find you the best coverage option at the lowest premium. We want you to be happy. We want referrals. We want you to be with us. We want you to, be with us on the next property. We want you to be with us at renewal. So we want to find you the best options available. And at renewal, if it makes sense, yeah, we're going to shop for you at renewal. That way you always have the most competitive offer. A lot of people are always worried about having to shop around every year, which is something you should look into do with a lot of things. But for us, if we notice that something has changed drastically, usually the premium, then yeah, we'll go and shop for you. So we really are a one-stop shop, taking a lot of that headache out of your hands. One of the questions I get asked quite a bit is, why use a specialist? I get this all the time. My brother-in-law owns a home and auto agency. He's going to help me with insurance on our apartment. So there's three things that you want to think about. This is so specialized that he may not even know the correct coverages and the limits needed for a large multifamily property. This is so different than your home and auto. It's even different than a nail salon. There's so much more that goes into it. They'll probably figure it out. They probably work great, and so they'll probably figure that part out. But in the beginning, they might not know at all what exactly you need. The other thing is they may not have access to carriers that are willing to write multifamily. There's really not a ton of carriers that are willing to write it. It's a big risk, and there's only a select few that even want to mess with it. Also, one thing in our industry is there's different programs that we can get you on for your insurance at this multifamily properties, and they may not have access to programs that the programs basically spread the risk and be able to offer lower premiums. So if you think about this program from this insurance carrier, they're going to have 50 different large multifamily properties within this one insurance program. Because there's so many properties within that program, and they all renew at the same time, and they're all spread out throughout the United States, if there is a claim that needs to be made, well, that risk is spread out much more, which gives you much lower premiums. In order to be a part of these programs, to even ask them if they'll quote for you, you have to be a specialist, and you have to bring them a certain amount of business every year. So you really have to know what you're doing and do it very frequently to even know about it. So that's another reason to use a specialist. This is another thing that a lot of people get confused on is how to choose a broker. A lot of people think, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to 3 agents that I like and have them go out and shop for me, and they're going to bring me back the best quotes. What a lot of people don't understand in our industry is it can actually be a little cutthroat, but if I, as an agent, go to one carrier and Julie, as an agent, goes to that same carrier, if I went to them first, it's blocked. Julie doesn't even have a chance. The carrier will say, no, JT's already come to us. We're not letting anyone else quote this property. This is only JT, right? And so what that does is you look at agent 1, he was able to go to all 3 carriers. Maybe agent 2 only knew about carriers 1 and 3, and agent 3 went to all 3 carriers. Well, the insurance carrier number 1, the quote goes to agent 3 for getting to them first. Carrier 2, quote goes to agent 1 for getting to them first. And then the 3rd carrier declines because the information they're getting from a couple different agents is conflicting, and they say, this seems kind of weird and kind of risky. I don't even want to be a part of it. So they don't even give you a quote, right? And so now when you thought you were shopping and doing your due diligence, finding the best quotes out there, you're actually kind of handcuffing yourself a little bit. Instead, usually what you want to do is use this model. You take a couple agents away, let one agent, your trusted agent, the one that knows, that's a specialist, that knows the right places to go to, the one that you trust, let them go out and shop for you, and they'll actually get all 3 quotes back. Actually using one broker will find you more options. It's something that it kind of boggles your mind if you didn't know it, but now that you know it, it should make a little bit more sense and understand why it's so important for brokers to go out and build those relationships, because if they don't, then they're just going to get blocked every time they turn around. So Julie, do you want me to elaborate on that, or do you have any questions about that?
I think that is a great visual. The other one was a little bit confusing, but I like
it's
this.
Supposed to be, right? See?
Yeah.
So the only way that it would go another way, if you've got a broker that's going out and maybe giving you two different options, maybe they only went to a couple carriers, I might question and say, maybe this isn't the specialist that I thought they were. Maybe I do need to go find someone else, because there's more options most likely. And so the only way I would look to use more than one broker is if they're not giving you as many options as you think you should have. And really you should have, we go out, depending on the property, we're going to go out to at least 5 different carriers that are going to be any good at writing this. So those are some of the things that you need to think about when you're choosing a broker. Here's another question.
I have a question from Patrick. He asked, can you ask a broker not to go to a certain carrier?
Yep, we get that occasionally. Occasionally someone will say, we want you to go shop these 2 carriers. There's another guy in our investment group that has a best friend that's really good at this. We're going to let him go to those other ones. That's usually when we see that. They just kind of want to make it fair to their investors. So that's perfectly fine. But just know that if you use multiple brokers, that yes, they're going to be blocked at some of them unless you tell them specifically, where to go, right? And so another question that I get asked is, why does a 300 unit complex in Phoenix have a lower premium than 100 units in Dallas or Houston? So to some of y'all, this may be obvious, but here's the answer. Right? So if you're looking at Phoenix, look at the severe weather in Phoenix and how frequently that is. It's nothing compared to Dallas. If y'all have ever been to Dallas or anywhere surrounding areas, we get hail all the time, every year, no matter what. And we get big chunks of hail that does a ton of damage on people's cars, but also the roofs of these apartments. These carriers know that there is a good chance that a big hailstorm is going to come through, and their apartments that they're insuring are going to make a claim on this. and to repair roofs are very expensive. And then Houston, obviously, with the hurricanes, it's just one more thing that they have to worry about. So, you know, maybe it's not so obvious, but think about the different, if you put in your insurance hat on, think about the different things that could happen in that area and what the risks are. Certainly Dallas or Houston is much riskier than, say, an area like Phoenix. So that's one reason. Here's another thing I get all the time. Insurance should run me $300 a door, right? Or $400 a door, or $200 a door. Name your figure. I've heard them all. A lot of times you can be right. You can get different quotes, and roughly they're running right now around $320 a door. The only problem is does your apartment complex look more like this, or does it look like this? Obviously, the one on the left has a ton more units than the one on the right, but they could be the same square footage overall, right? And so really what we're looking at is the total square footage of the property. You also think about what's on that property. You could have leasing offices, you could have gyms. I've seen some properties that have like movie theaters and stuff like that. And these are adding buildings, not necessarily units, but big buildings onto your property. That's going to increase the square footage. The more buildings you have, or the more property you have, that's going to affect the premiums. Usually more units equals, you know, bigger square footage, but not necessarily, as you can see with these two pictures, right? Julie, does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm sure the question's going to come up. So how do you underwrite it without contacting you?
Underwrite it without contacting me. So what you can use the unit approach, just kind of to eyeball it, I guess, if you will. But there's just so many fluctuations with it. That's a good question. I can probably get a easy like square footage formula to share with everybody to make that a little bit easier for y'all, rather than having to use unit count. That's
Yeah, that would be helpful. I got it.
Okay. All right. So how can we help you underwrite insurance? This is something that we do all the time. I don't mind doing it at all. Julie, you said that you heard that some agents don't like doing it. Is that right?
I'm sorry. I had a question come up.
Oh, that's fine.
So the question is, or in our analyzer that all of us use within the Michael Blanc group, he uses a 1.7% of the sale price to figure out what the insurance will be. Have you had any experience with that? Would that be a good number?
Yeah. Let me do some math here. Yeah, that might be close. Yeah.
Well, look at that. Michael Blanc knows what he is doing.
There you go.
So that's good. All right, keep going.
Anyway, so what we do that is unique.
You had asked me if I had seen something about.
Yes.
What was that question?
So the question is we do what's called indications all the time. Basically, we're going to give you we're going to do some basic underwriting for you, and we're going to give you our best estimate of what the annual premium should be under, you know, normal situations. I do this all the time, and I actually really like doing it. But you told me the other day that you heard that some insurance agents hate it and they kind of turn their nose at it sometimes.
Yeah, I have been told, like, oh, don't bring it to them. Someone had asked me, should I wait? And I said, no, go right away. And they had said, well, I had heard you don't want to go to them until you have a deal.
Right.
And I had said, no, that's not my buddy JT. He likes to hear from everybody before, so he's got it all ready if and when it does transact.
Yes, absolutely. So, bring me any property that you're looking to submit an LOI on.
Before.
Before, yes. Now, don't drive down the road in every apartment complex you see and you think, oh, I could, submit an LOI on that. No, I don't want those. I would really rather, when you have your information together, you think this is an awesome property that you just can't live without. That's when you call me. I'll ask for some basic information, basically address, rent roll, the offering memorandum if you have it, and T12 if you have it. And then from there, I can spit out a working indication, which is here on the right. And Daryl can attest to this. I've done this. Daryl, how many times do you think we've talked since I met you?
At least what? At least 5, 6 times.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. And I even told my students about you.
Yeah.
So I think maybe 1 or 2 of my students even came to you.
Yeah, yeah. I love doing it. It helps me get familiar with, even more familiar with the markets throughout the nation. But also, if you think about it, if you decide not to go forward with it, your LOI doesn't get accepted, chances are I've got another client out there that's looking at the same property, right? And so if that's the case, then I've already done all the work. And so it makes it a lot easier. Plus, I know what properties are looking like now in Charlotte or Phoenix or wherever, if I haven't looked out there in a while. It keeps me on my toes. Plus, I can't tell you how many times I've done a working indication for somebody and I get 3 other requests right after that. So why not just do it? I'm going to get them anyways, right? And plus, when you do get under contract, we're already halfway there. Now I just need a few other pieces of information, and we're already off and running. I get asked all the time, JT, why is insurance always the last thing? Why are we biting our nails, closing time, waiting on insurance? And I just tell them, why did it take so long for you to reach out to me before we started getting this going? One piece of advice is I would get your team together. Okay, you want to get your team of investors together. You want to get your lender together. You want to get Julie on your team, and you want to get your insurance guy on your team. And all the properties that you're looking at, let everybody know right off the bat. Then all those headaches of coming down to closing time, you won't have that anymore. We're already all in. We already know what's going on, and we can start right off the bat. And for us, that starts off with this working indication. And I keep saying working indication because I do stress it is a working indication. This is really kind of best case scenario. If there was an assault on the property yesterday or a fire a week ago and we don't have access to that information, obviously that's going to adjust the premiums. But under normal situations, I can usually get you an estimated premium within about $2,000 to $5,000. Now, why is that important? Let's look at this.
I want to go back on that.
Sure.
I want to make sure that that you indicate that you want to make sure you get your T12 and your rent roll.
Yeah, the information that's on the T12 and the offering memorandum is very helpful for me. It allows me to do things a lot quicker. I can find a lot of the information that I need on the internet. It's just going to take me a lot longer. If you get me the address, rent roll, OM, and T12, as long as I'm in the office and not doing an event, I can usually get you an indication within about 30 minutes. If you could ask Daryl, sometimes even faster. So it really helps if you get me as much information as you can. It'll help me get you a more accurate indication as well. So the more information you have, the better. I understand sometimes you won't have it, or the selling broker doesn't want to give it to you or let you share it or whatever. I understand that. Just give me as much as you can, and that's really going to help me out. Good point, Julie. All right. So why is an indication important? So we've all seen this type of paperwork. This is a real offering memorandum from a client that we set up, I think a month ago he closed. This client came to us much later into the game here, and so we weren't able to give him an indication. And if you notice right here, here's what they said they paid for insurance last year. Here's what they said the first year insurance should be, right? The actual annual premium came out to $38,880. All right. There was some other circumstances for that I'm not going to go into, but certainly if he came to me and asked for an indication, I would have indicated around $35,000 to $40,000 most likely. Needless to say, it was a very hard conversation to have, and not a fun one when we finally tell him this is the best quote we can get, when he's budgeting for a number like this, right? And then he goes off into, well, insurance is always changing. How are you supposed to know? Well, it's not your job to know. It's my job to know, right? Reach out to me and I can help you out. And another thing that goes into that is I'm very conservative when I do these indications. It would be very easy for me to say, hey, Daryl, yeah, the insurance on this, it's nothing. Yeah, it's a great deal. Go ahead and get it. And then later on down the road, when we give you a final quote, it's $10,000 higher. You know, yes, I attracted you to us and we might get the deal anyways, but you're not going to be very happy, right? So I would rather be conservative, tell you the hard truth up front. That way you can budget for it. I've never had anyone upset with me that the insurance maybe was a little bit higher than they thought at the beginning of the deal, but they knew how to budget for it at the end and everything worked out, right? True story, the property that was closing tomorrow, I did an indication for them and a quote came back actually $5,000 less. So they're ecstatic. That's awesome. We can move that to, you know, the new swing set we were going to buy or whatever else they're going to do. It turns out that the lender changed some of their requirements because of COVID-19. They wanted to increase the building limits and they wanted to increase the loss of rents. Well, guess what? We were $5,000 under budget and we were able to move those numbers around very easily and they were still within budget. So having a good indication right off the bat is going to help you out a lot. I don't know if y'all have seen memorandums like this before. I see them all the time. I'm not going to speculate too much of why they do this. I assume it's to entice all the investors to say, hey, look at what a deal this is. You know, you run these numbers and, oh, it's working out great. I assume that it's there to make it look a little bit better, but most of the ones that I see are pretty far off. And that's part of the reason I'm looking at the offering memorandum. I want to see what they claim that they paid for insurance. And, you know, we're going to a ton of the biggest carriers and there's just no way that they can expect, you know, their insurance prices to be this. So
JT, I have a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
Would that client in this example renew his premium with you next year and then save, or how would that, would you renew with them? How does that work?
How would, say it again? So I don't really.
Tim is asking, would the client renew his premium with you next year and save then, or do you just underwrite it with the savings? How does that work?
So the client that's purchasing this property,
you save them capital, right? You save
Right.
them $5,000.
Yeah.
Would you underwrite it for the savings of that 5,000, or does
so
that go towards
so
the
when our
premium?
quote comes back at $5,000 less, they put in a budget for a certain amount for insurance. When it comes back less, now they have more room in their bottom line to move money around to purchase other things or to give back to their investors and things like that. I think the biggest story, because we were so conservative up front, I think, yeah, it was just a few days ago when the lender came back with different requirements and we've got a week till closing. Well, what are you going to do? Well, thankfully we had $5,000 worth of wiggle room to adjust things the way the lender wanted without them going out of budget. Now, next year, when they renew with us, yeah, we're going to, you know, hopefully this same carrier is going to be the best one. You know, that's usually a lot easier for everybody. But if we notice that the premiums are increasing, then yeah, we'll go out and shop it. So I hope that answers your question.
I think it does. Let's, Tim, if that didn't answer it, rechat.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Sorry. I was just trying to figure out, let's say he got a quote for $40,000. I'm sorry. No, it's actually, he got a $40,000 premium he expected. And can he go back next year and get a better rate from you if he got quoted a higher rate? And I think the answer is possibly yes.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying. So because I may have underquoted the indication at first, and then it came in higher, am I going to help him out next year because I was so far off? The answer is unfortunately no. So as a brokerage, we're kind of a middleman between carriers. We really don't have any control over what these carriers are going to come back with. The best that I can do is give you my best educated guess based on market conditions, based off of as much information as I can gather on getting you as close as possible to what that premium is going to be. And it's the best way to do it. Other than that, you're going to do your own underwriting, which there may be some variables that come in that you don't know about, or you're going to go off of an offering memorandum, or you're going to say, well, I heard that insurance should cost $300 a door or whatever. There's so much room for error there that this is, I can't always be 100% accurate. Sometimes it does end up being higher. Sometimes it ends up being lower, but it's a lot better to be able to budget that versus kind of a shot in the dark, which is a lot of people what they're doing right now. So
I have another question
Yeah.
on this annual premium of $38,880.
Yep.
Do you know what the percentage of that of the sales price does that represent?
I can figure it out. Yeah. Can I share that after this?
Well, we'll get back to Patrick on that.
Sure. And then, of course, there's a lot of factors that go into this. Like I said, if there's assaults that have been at the property, you're probably going to know about it, hopefully. If you think that you can hide it from the carrier, there's no way. There's no way. Think about your business. If you were in the business of insuring a property and you want to see if this is a good property to insure, you can do a basic crime search of that area and you'll find the news articles. I had a property a few months ago, and it was a fixer-upper, sure, but we start doing some searching, and there was an assault like a month before that. So yeah, your premium is going to be much higher, and those are the kind of things that you should look for as well, right? The one good thing is I do these so often that there are some insights that you may not know when you first come to me. For example, I had a client that came to me and said, hey, I'm really interested in, I don't know, Brownwood Estates, right? Said, oh, great. Yeah, I'd be happy to help you there. Well, we had clients that owned it, right? And so I give them back an indication and I say, just so you know, I've adjusted for the fire that happened last January. Oh, there was a fire there. There sure was. And so if you're sending me something, there's a good chance that we've insured it in the past. One of our clients currently owns it, or I've done multiple indications on it already. That's how much reach we have in the nation, and that's how often we do indications like this. So we can actually give you a little bit more insight than maybe you're getting from everybody else too. So it's always refreshing to see.
Awesome.
Anything else on this?
Nope.
All right.
I just want to give you, we've got about 5 minutes more.
Yes, I'll speed through. So here's basic information that we're going to need. And I can find this out from the information you're already giving me, but number of units, year built, gross square footage, all that. I just wanted to share all this because it's kind of funny what they look for. Is there graffiti present? Are there bars on the windows? How many pools are there? What's the height of the pool fence, type of fence, all that stuff. So all those go into writing these properties. Now, I can figure out all of this information on my own for you. This is the part that I need your help with. When you go out to a property, especially after it's under contract and you're doing your due diligence, these are things that you need to ask. Last year, improvements made to roof, wiring, HVAC, and plumbing, especially. Now, Julie, why would you want to know the last time improvements were made to your roof?
Well, it's gonna cost you a heck of a lot more money if it hasn't been done in a while.
If you have a brand new roof versus a roof that's 15 years old, that carrier is going to know that you need a roof replaced very soon. The next storm that comes through, guess what you're going to do? You're going to make a claim for a new roof. Guess how much that costs? A whole lot of money. So I know that this may seem elementary, but I can't tell you how many times I've asked property owners, hey, how old is the roof? And they have no idea. Hey, when was the last time the HVAC system was serviced? They have no idea, right? Another thing you see here at the bottom, what type of wiring is there? Do you have copper? Do you have aluminum pigtail? Do you have Federal Pacific or stab lock panels? They have no idea. That's something that they didn't ask about. And I'll show you why the wiring is important. So here's copper wiring versus aluminum. Aluminum, a lot of it was built in the 60s and 70s. There was a shortage of copper. And what happens with aluminum wiring is when they meet up with these receptacles, they become very hot and have been known to catch on fire, okay? And so what they do is they basically wrap the aluminum with copper ends. So now the copper is touching the receptacle, making it much less hot. Now, if you have aluminum wiring, it doesn't mean it's uninsurable. It doesn't mean that there is, it's going to cost a ton more and you should turn away from that property. No, all it means is the carriers now, they want to know, all right, it's aluminum wiring. What are you going to do about it? And what is your timeline to get that fixed as soon as you buy this property? And so then what you're going to do is you're going to get with an electrician. He's going to tell you how much it's going to cost to do all this to all these units. And you think about light switches, the light bulbs, the ceiling fans, all of that needs to be done. And he'll tell you a per unit price. You don't have to switch out all the wiring. That's obviously your best fix, but you can get by with this aluminum pigtail and it's going to save you a fortune. So one big question I would ask when you're looking at a property, does it have aluminum wiring? It's going to greatly affect your insurance premiums. There's some carriers that won't even write it. That's how important it is. And it'll cost you because you're going to have to get that repaired as soon as you buy it.
What about cast iron pipe? Do you have any feedback on that? What your concerns or costs associated?
So yes and no, it is a concern. That's why we want to know when the last time that's been serviced. We usually don't run into properties that are that old to have that. But yes, that's a similar concern. Obviously, cast iron can rust and cause leaks. But that's why we want to know if this property was built in the 20s, when was the last time all that stuff was looked at? And you would want to know too. So just be smart about it. Just like when you're buying your house, you don't want to buy a house with an old roof and old plumbing and wiring that hasn't been looked at for a while, right? So those are big time things that you, when I ask you about it, don't be that investor that says, oh, I have no idea. When your nose is into all the numbers, which I know it can get very confusing and daunting, look at some of these other things too, because these are going to greatly affect your premiums and the work that's going to have to be done at the apartment complex.
This is probably a dumb question, but aren't buyers motivated to play dumb regarding things like plumbing replacement year to get a better rate? Or what are the motivations to prevent that besides just being an honest person?
So are buyers trying to play dumb to get a better rate?
Yeah, like, oh, well, I don't know if it has electrical, because if it does, it's going to cost me more money to insure it. So you just say, oh, I don't know. Or when you're insuring your house, do you park the car in the garage? Oh, yes, I do. And you don't.
Right. So the problem is, if you told an insurance carrier, if you told me, oh no, it's copper wiring throughout, and you knew that it was aluminum wiring, first of all, it's insurance fraud, right? So it would be hard to prove that. But what can happen is they'll come out and they'll do an audit, and they'll take a look at certain things like that. Now, not everyone is going to get audited, but if they figure out down the line that you do have aluminum wiring versus copper, first of all, they could drop you all together. They could make you pay past premiums because of the lack of information. And they would make you fix it right there on the spot. And do you have the money to do that? I would rather just know it's aluminum wiring. Hey, investors, we're going to have a little bit more money up front. You know, you're not going to get your cash on cash returns until month 15 versus 13 to get this fixed. Just do your homework and know that this is something that you've got to fix when you get it.
Okay, I have some questions. So you have a master, you do the insurance policy for the whole apartment complex. What about the individual renters insurance? Do you give them a policy as well? Is it reduced because you've got the other one, you know, the big one?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we have renters policies for your tenants. This is a big push for landlords because they want their tenants to be covered, right? If a tenant causes a small kitchen fire, they don't want to be out any money. They would rather their tenant have to pay a $300 deductible and just get that fixed because it didn't affect any other units, right? Some landlords are making their tenants have policies. It's part of their lease agreement, right? We do have a product that has that basically, Daryl, if you're the landlord, you own it. So you have 200 units, you own the policies, and you're the named insured on all the policies of all your tenants. They can't cancel for any reason because you own it. I believe it goes for $7 a month, and you would just tack that onto their rent. And anytime that there's an issue, you make a claim off of their policy. The only problem with that is it doesn't insure their belongings. This is really just liability insurance for the tenants. If someone were to break in their house and steal their TV, no, this doesn't really cover that. It doesn't really cover their property. It just covers their liability. So a lot of landlords are interested in it. It's just hard to get. It's hard to get tenants to buy into that.
No. Daryl had a question.
Yeah.
Daryl?
Not really a question. I had a statement in reference to going back to the question about the buyer being dishonest to the broker.
Right.
Actually, that goes a lot deeper. If you're not an honest person, that's really irresponsible because you're putting your investors at risk. To do something like that, that's going to question your integrity, and and your honesty. So in this business, honesty and integrity is one of the most important things. So if you're lying to the insurance guy and your investors find out, they're going to start wondering, what else are you lying about?
No, you're exactly right.
I just wanted to say that.
No, you're exactly right. And I wish everyone thought like you. Unfortunately, they don't. I've had clients before that they knew about a claim in the past and they're trying to hide it. Well, we're going to find out, right? You can't. There's news articles, right? That we're going to find out. The moment that we hear that, we're not going to work with you anymore. So yes, there's other insurance brokers out there, but you just burned a bridge here. We don't want to be a part of that. We don't want to be a part of some lawsuit, or we don't want carriers not to be responsive to us when we're looking for quotes. It's not worth it to us. So, you know, it's usually in everything in life, just be upfront and honest. And if the property has, you know, aluminum wiring, that's what it is. Deal with it. And if you know that you're going to have to pay to get it fixed, ask the seller for some concessions for that, right? Do your homework at first, because you know you're going to have to do work in the end, versus trying to hide and weasel around stuff. Just be honest with yourself. This is going to have to get fixed. Now let's go from there. You do that.
I got another couple questions and we're running out of time. So if anybody has to run, we're going to keep going with a couple more questions. If you have to run, thank you for joining us. This is JT's contact information. Make sure you get it. I'm going to post these. JT, you're going to give me copies, so I'll post them on the Slack. Tim has another question. Can we offer renter's insurance to our tenants at a better rate than typical? If we can get some sort of contact with an insurance broker, how do we get it?
So we offer renter's insurance. It's really easy. Like I said, we can get it for, it's very inexpensive. We're talking $8 to $15 a month. The only thing is there's places out there like Lemonade right now that's purely online. They're really cheap too. When it comes to renter's insurance, it's just so cheap anyways that there's really not much other discounts to offer, unfortunately. So the question is yes and no, I guess. In a perfect world, you would have a property that doesn't have any tenants in it when you first get it, and you know it's going to be 100% occupied as soon as you get it, and you've already built in their renter's insurance into their rent, so they don't know any better, and now you control tenants, insurance as you go.
But you're not covering their belongings. So do you offer something for their belongings that you could package up when they get in, the signing of the contracts?
We don't have any big master policy that a landlord would control. At that point, if that becomes a big concern, then we would just offer you just a regular insurance, renter's insurance from Liberty Mutual or Travelers or something like that.
But you could put something together for people though. Sounds like.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay. I do have a question. It's we're in COVID.
Yeah.
How is this going to affect insurance policies moving forward? I know I was told by another insurance guy that our rates are actually low and to expect them to be righted in the next year, and that if you think it's high now, it's going to be much higher. So what is your thought on that? And is COVID going to affect this moving forward?
Well, I will say this, so far with the deals that we've done, I really haven't seen it affect insurance as much directly. Now, Julie, you know that it's affecting lending, right?
Yeah.
And lenders, I'm not exactly sure if it's lenders or Fannie Mae or who's asking for it, but they're asking for a little bit higher replacement values, higher loss of rents and things like that. So that's affecting us. I do know that carriers they're being a little bit more particular. So, okay, you've got aluminum wiring. It's not enough just to say, Daryl, great, you're going to fix it. Awesome. They want to know a plan. No, you have this amount of money set aside. You're using this electric contractor to do it. Here's his credentials, and it's going to be done on month 3, and the job will be done on month 10. So they really want, they just really want you to be, tight with everything that you're doing. And what that kind of does is it kind of scares away a lot of the investors that are just kicking tires, I guess. And it really just leads to more sophisticated investors and better deals, I think. As far as raising premiums, seems like premiums raise every year anyway, so that would be a good bet to bet on. I really haven't heard either way if they think it's going to raise or lower. I would think that would matter more how many big natural disasters there are versus COVID-19. How many claims they're actually paying out, because right now they're not paying apartment owners for loss of rents because there's an exclusion for a disease or pandemic. So if tenants aren't paying rents, then insurance companies aren't paying for that, and if they're not paying for that, then there's no more claims than there would be any normal year.
Okay.
Right?
Good. That's good. All right. Anybody else? Because I'm going to wrap this up. Oh, okay. Well, you guys, I want to thank you. I want to thank JT. Awesome information.
Thank you.
I want to make sure that
useful. I know insurance isn't the funnest thing to listen about, but I hope this is useful. And I hope I can help y'all going forward. I'd be happy to, if you got a property you're looking at, let me know about it.
I want to make sure that I'm creating value, because an hour of your time to spend with us is really valuable, and I want to make sure that I am providing it. Was this information helpful?
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
very
for
much.
sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, good, good, good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great content.
All right,
Great
you
content.
guys, I really appreciate it. One thing I will tell you is we have a webinar tomorrow, Old Capitol and Marcus and Millichap. We're going to be talking to 4 operators, and it is how do you recover. These people have been doing this for 37 years, as much as 37 years, and how do they get through it? So I highly recommend it. If you can spend 1 hour with us tomorrow, I really recommend it. It is worth your time. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock, let's see, it's 2 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm Pacific, so I'm at 12, 2, don't miss it, all right? So with that, I'm gonna sign off. I appreciate everybody being here, making a priority, and I will see you.
Julie,
Yes.
can you send us the link? Can you put a link on the Slack channel?
Yes, it is on there, but
Here,
I will
let's see.
I'll
Okay,
redo it.
sorry. I'll go find it.
Absolutely no problem. You guys
Okay.
have a great night, you guys. I'll see you. Let me know if I can help.
And Tim and Daryl, I'll get with y'all tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow morning.
Okay.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you.
you guys. See you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.